Today, we'll be taking a look at a very unique and really cool EV charging company called Volta that took a completely different approach on how to make money from EV chargers. Their idea was to offer free EV charging and instead to make money from advertising. And it turns out that someone else thought this was a pretty great idea too, because in 2023, the massive energy company Shell decided to buy Volta for almost $170 million. In this video, we'll break down exactly how Volta makes money, how their advertising revenue works, and how they separate themselves from their competitors like Tesla and ChargePoint. So, if you're thinking about investing in this industry, this video will help you decide the best place to put your money. All right, let's do it. So, first off, who is Volta? Let's take a quick look at who they are as a company. So, Volta was founded in 2010, and they have a special approach to the EV charging network with a focus on advertising. They operate charging stations that are available for the public to use for free. The company is based in San Francisco and they went public in 2021. Volta aims for high traffic areas like shopping malls, grocery stores, airports, and business districts where it can capture attention from its digital ads. So if you haven't seen them out there yet, Volta's EV charging stations have a digital screen placed above the chargers that are running ads on an 8-second basis. Okay, let's look at the 5 keys on how Volta's business model is set up. And the first one, the biggest one, is free EV charging. This is by far the biggest draw for drivers because, I mean, who doesn't love things that are free? This is definitely the biggest selling point that Volta offers. Their chargers are placed in public areas, so if you're driving in the city and you see a Volta charger and you want to save some money, then that's definitely the place to go. But how are they able to offer free EV charging? Wouldn't they just be losing money? And this is where number 2, the advertising revenue comes in. So Volta is special because instead of making money from the chargers, they're making money from ad revenue. The ad revenue brings in enough money to pay for all the chargers and the electricity costs and the installation. Volta has digital ads above their EV chargers that are displaying targeted advertisements. Now, targeted is the key word here, which I'll get to in the next point. Volta works with brands and advertisers who pay for exposure in certain places. Apparently, Volta partners with over 500 advertisers and they reach an estimated 45 million consumers per month. So I mentioned targeted ads earlier, and this is a huge part of their model because it all has to do with location. Volta focuses on placing its charging stations in strategic locations where it can maximize ad exposure and reach the right audience. So mostly think retail locations like shopping malls, grocery stores, anywhere that has high foot traffic. And Volta wants to focus on strategic partnerships with property owners and businesses to install charging stations in places where people spend time, ensuring that ads are seen by a captive audience. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you pull up at a mall and you need to charge your EV, so you plug into a Volta charger and you look up and you see an ad for, let's say, a new pair of shoes. Then subconsciously or maybe consciously, you may think, oh yeah, I do need a new pair of shoes for that thing next week. Better stop into that store just in case. Oh, it looks like they're having a sale. Then boom, they gotcha. The owners of the stores also benefit from increased foot traffic that the EV chargers bring to the location. And sometimes Volta will even share some of the advertising revenue with the host. Now, as I've mentioned before, the terms and agreements usually change based on the location. So it really depends on how valuable the location is to decide if they're going to share this revenue. This mutually beneficial model makes Volta kind of a win-win for both customers and businesses. The next one that I rarely hear people talking about, but it's so important and underrated, is data. What did Gordon Gekko say in Wall Street? I think he said, the most valuable commodity that I can think of is information. And this kind of applies here. EV chargers can collect so much data and information on the customers that are visiting your business that it can give you some really great insights. For example, they might be able to tell a store, how many people came to visit, how long they stayed, and their demographic. Apparently, this service has helped Volta's partners boost foot traffic by up to 25%. Okay, number five, and it's through software. So just like many other EV charging companies, managing the network it's a lot of work and it's not easy to do. So it usually comes with a price or a subscription on a monthly basis. I've seen this all firsthand from the back end and it's not simple. Most EV charging companies have a networking fee and Volta is no different. So, although advertising is Volta's primary revenue stream, the company does also generate some revenue through its software services. And this software, just like many other EV charging company software, allows these businesses to manage their charging stations, track usage, and gather data on the charging patterns. And it's all done through the backend on an app. So, it's pretty clear that Volta is very different from other charging companies. I think this is such a great idea, but I don't know. What do you think? Is this foundation solid? Well, these are the three main things that this company is leaning on. And the first one is free charging. So, by using the ad revenue, Volta can provide free charging to customers, which is obviously super attractive to bring in more people. The second one is pretty high revenue from the advertisements. If this is your main source of income, you're going to be pretty strategic about who you partner with and how much money you can make from the ads. So they make sure that this is bringing in a significant portion of their income. And the third one is this business is pretty scalable, especially if you've already built a relationship with certain advertisers, then all you need to do is add in more charging stations at prime locations and you have more business. So while other EV charging companies are trying to make money from their chargers, Volta switched lanes and went a different way with their advertising. I'm curious if any of you have used a Volta charger before and what your experience was like. If so, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you're wondering who I am and why I care, my name's Trevor and I helped launch two successful EV charging startups, and now I make videos on how it works. And I'd love if you were to subscribe to the channel and keep following the journey. I really appreciate you checking in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.